Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is any public comments or questions concerning today's agenda. Yep.
Hi, Isabel Hodges-Smith. I have a question on number 5 under new business, the update of the IGSA contract. It's the ICE contract for detainees at our correctional facility. I have a couple of questions. One is the duration of the contract, amount that we're getting per detainee. Number 3, have all detainees been allowed due process? And lastly, we seem to be spending a huge portion of our commissioner agenda on hiring, firing, and promoting correctional facility workers. And my question is, for Pike County, what's the cost of benefit? What's that analysis look like over time? I know we won't get that answer today, but it would be really worthwhile to know what we're doing longer term. If you look on the public policy, 170 of those detainees in February were at a 0 level of criminality, and 0 to 4 being the worst, which means most of them have had not felonies, but misdemeanors. And so my question is, for Pike County, is that really what we want to be known for?
Okay. Well, the contract is for 2 years. The amount of money is $178 a day as opposed to $120 a day. What else did you ask?
She wanted to know, I think, the total.
Have they been allowed, of all of the detainees, been allowed due process?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Are we sure?
Ma'am, we are only the entity that holds the individuals. We do not deal with their immigration rights. That's up to a different entity. But we have a prison where the warden runs it very well. If they have any issues, they have a right to make complaints. So as far as the prison, yes, they're entitled to their due process and are given the same. As far as immigration, not our responsibility.
Okay. And I guess that's a question for us. Are we okay that we may have people that are detained here that have not had due process?
Ma'am, that's not a fair statement. I said, I don't know if they have due process, but immigration controls those individuals. Our goal is just to hold them so they're safe and secure, and that there's no issues until they come to their time. That's our job.
Okay.
Before you move on, to answer your question a little, with respect to correctional officers, that's the normal ebb and flow of most correctional facilities, just salary, schedule, there could be a number of reasons why you see that constant turnover, but just know we're not packing the facility with officers. And as far as your study, I get it. I'm not sure. We could talk after the meeting about it. I'm not quite sure what you're asking in terms of that, but if it warrants investigation, I'll be happy to do that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We move on to number 1. Motion to approve the April 1st, 2026 agenda. Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the March 18th, 2026 meeting minutes. I'll make the motion.
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the March 25th, 2026 conference minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the payment in the general fund county bills of $749,996.26.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the debt service funds in the amount of $52,977.59.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Under motion personnel, motion to correct the effective date of the promotion of Matthew McDonald to the position of Senior Probation Officer in the Adult Probation Department to March 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of a letter from Warden Lowe advising that he has hired the following individuals as full-time correctional officers at the correctional facility for a 40-hour work week effective April 20th, 2026 with benefits after 90 days. Raymond Ball, George Berkowitz, Alfred Reed Jr., Raymond Simmons IV, and Connor Van Wert.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to change the status of Justin Sherman from a full-time to part-time deputy sheriff in the sheriff's office for less than 1,000 hours per year effective March 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to recess the Commissioners' meeting to hold a salary board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. On the salary board, motion to convene the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the March 18th. Let's do the March 18th first. March 18th salary board minutes. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is,
Abstain.
motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the March 25th, 2026 salary board minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to correct the effective date of the annual salary increase of Matthew McDonald by $2,500 due to his promotion to senior probation officer in the adult probation department to March 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to set the hourly rate of the of $27.01 per hour as full-time correctional officers as the correctional facility for a 40-hour work week effective April 20th, 2026 with benefits after 90 days. Raymond Ball, George Berkowitz, Alfred Reed Jr., Raymond Simmons. Motion to adjourn the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to reconvene the Commissioners' meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the chief clerk to execute the update to Health Now Services fee agreement.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2607, Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness Month, April 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Krista, could you read that?
Whereas Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness Months are intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence and child abuse are widespread and have public health implications for every community member of Pike County, and whereas 1 in 5 women will be raped in their lifetime, and whereas nearly 1 in 4 men has experienced some form of sexual violence during their lifetime, and whereas at least 1 in 7 children experienced abuse or neglect in the past year in the United States, and whereas nearly 1/4 of men in the U.S. experienced some form of sexual violence in their lifetime, and whereas children who are abused or neglected are at increased risk for future violence victimization and perpetration, substance abuse, delayed brain development, lower educational attainment, and limited employment opportunities, and whereas in a 4-year span, 32,075 child abuse defendants were charged in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And whereas holding offenders accountable not only affirms the dignity and rights of survivors, but also deters future harm, reinforces community standards, and sends a clear message that abuse and exploitation will not be tolerated. And whereas justice and healing are strengthened when perpetrators of sexual assault and child abuse are held accountable through fair, thorough, and trauma-informed investigative and judicial processes. And whereas community organizations, including VIP and Dixon House, work tirelessly to provide education, resources, and hope to survivors and their families. Now therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners of Pike County, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Prevention Month in Pike County, and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be part of the solution to end sexual violence and child abuse.
Thank you. So I know we have a large group here, and all of you work in protecting our children and family in our county, and we can't thank you enough. In fact, the entire community thanks you, unfortunately, of this job that you have to endure every day, because some of these are hard jobs that you all do. And I know right now, I think Sarah Loeb, did you want to speak a little bit about this? That's what I have on my notes. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah runs the CAC, correct?
Yes, and I'm going to have Chelsea come up with it.
Okay, Chelsea is from VIP, correct?
So we kind of have been working a lot together and collaborating. We work tirelessly and a lot with VIP, so we just thought it'd be a great way to show how we work together when we're combining these two. There are a lot of things that go on in April, so we want to just make sure we're highlighting as much as possible. So April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Chelsea will speak on the sexual abuse. But it's a time to come together as a community and stand up for the well-being of the children that we see here in Pike County. Children deserve to grow up in environments filled with love, support, and protection, but yet there are too many that face harm and in the places where they should feel the safest. Prevention starts with awareness, so the more awareness we can bring to our county, the better we are off. We can make that difference by supporting families, listening to children, speaking up when something doesn't seem right, and creating a community where kindness and care are the norm. For every small act, checking on a neighbor, offering help to a struggling parent, or simply being present can help protect and change a life. Last year, we served 174 children in Pike County. That's 174 children in our community that have experienced or witnessed domestic violence, sexual assault, physical abuse, neglect, or drug engagement. So there will be 174 pinwheels out front of Dixon House to represent each of those children that walked through our doors. We just want to ask that the community supports our office, but also the community, the places that are supporting us. So Daily Grind and Tiffany's Coffee Shop, they're running special blue drinks throughout the month of April to bring awareness for us. We at Dixon House will also be at the library at the Milford branch and Dingman branch to be with our visit with Violet. So we have children that come and get to read with Violet. So we will be Thursday, we will be at the Dingman's library, and Monday we'll be at the Milford library. We also ask everyone to continue to wear blue and wear blue each Friday, and that you can send your pictures to Monique, and we'll be able to make sure that we highlight everyone. And that we just ask that we light up the April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, so the more awareness, the better off we all are.
So I think I'm preaching to the choir because most of you know who VIP is, but we are a victim service provider that helps victims of all types of crime and abuse throughout the county in various ways. And this proclamation talked a lot about accountability, and I think something, I don't have anything prepared, so
Okay,
let it fly.
we're good.
I think the one thing I really want to mention when it comes to accountability is that that's on all of us, and especially in the language that we use when we talk about child abuse. It's hard to open up your phone or turn on the TV without being bombarded by articles or reports of child abuse right now. We all know, we are all feeling the effects of it. But what I notice is a lot of sugarcoating, a lot of language that headlines saying things like he had non-consensual sex with an underage woman. That's a lot of sugarcoating to say he raped a child. And when we sugarcoat, the whole point is to make something easier to swallow, and we should be choking on headlines like this. We should be stopped in our tracks, we should be enraged by what's happening. And when we sugarcoat it, we make it easier to swallow, we make it seem like it was just a miscommunication. We're advancing the maturity of the victims and making them almost culpable in their own abuse, and that's not what any of us want to do. I'm looking out at everybody wearing blue. None of us want to see children being hurt, but when we use this language, we really do damage the victims and their story and their voices. So this month and every month, I'm asking us all to spot that, to call it out when we see it, to write letters to the editor if you see it used, if you see language like young woman, young girl, non-consensual sex, which isn't a thing, it's rape. We have to use the right words. Call out your friends if they're using language like this, and just clock yourself as you're talking about it, because we don't want to do wrong by victims. We want to make sure that they are heard and they are represented, and that we're not trying to make anything more palatable when it shouldn't be. This stuff is really awful, and we need to make sure that we're not being desensitized to the truth of what's happening. I'm gonna go my soapbox away. We also have a lot of awareness things going on this month for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April 7th, which is next Tuesday, is Teal Tuesday. Teal is a really hard color to find. Trust me, we know, we struggle every year. We'll settle for some shade of blue as well, which you all have, no excuses. So that's Tuesday the 7th. And then we also celebrate Denim Day, which is the last Wednesday of the month, which is Wednesday the 29th this year. So just come out, I don't know, decked in your denim tuxedos, wear your jeans, wear your denim jackets, in any way that you can. If you can't wear denim, we also have little denim pins that we are happy to bring to your office that you can somehow support us without breaking dress code and getting in trouble. But the point of Denim Day is to call awareness to victim blaming, and there's a whole big story around it. I don't want to take up too much time, but you can learn about it on our website or literally just Googling Denim Day. It's basically a big global day of protest, and every year we have a lot of people who participate with us, so we'd love to see more of that this year. Thank you. Oh, hold on, I'm not done.
That's fine.
And
Podium is yours.
this kind of does go hand in hand, but a little bit off script. Last month was Women's History Month, and we asked people in the community to vote for a badass woman. And while we already chose our winner and we celebrated her last weekend, I do want to say that we had somebody in this room who got a pretty big number of votes, and I just want her to feel recognized because it's a big deal. A lot of people. I'm going to read one quick vote, not much. So Sarah. Sarah is committed to assisting victims when they arrive at Dixon House CAC, at the beginning of their child abuse investigation and as they move through the criminal justice system. Sarah is not afraid to stand up for what is right and to speak up on behalf of victims who can sometimes be forgotten or not believed by others when they disclose what has happened. So I just feel like that's a really good tie-in to what we're all here for, and I hope you know that you're really making a difference. So thank you.
Just from me, really quick before we move on, I know we do this every year and you all come down, you look wonderful. But I also know how taxing this job can be, how stressful it can be, how draining it can be. Being a child on the other side of that door that you knock on, I just want you to remember that when you do that, a child says, I'm safe. Don't ever forget that. Thank you.
Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Yep. You can read this one.
Resolution number 26-08, Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. Whereas every child deserves the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed, free from abuse and violence, and to grow up in a household filled with love, protection, and a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas, to ensure the freedom and opportunity, Pike County remains committed to protecting our children and the breaking cycles of abuse that can profoundly shape the future of our youth. And whereas, in Pike County, 36 children were abused in 2025, which can leave physical and psychological scars on a child that can extend well beyond childhood and lead to permanent disabilities, psychological distress, substance abuse, mental health issues, crime, domestic violence, and a continuation of child abuse within family. Whereas child abuse is a serious public health issue that crosses racial, economic, and social boundaries in our county, requiring comprehensive community response to build a better future. And whereas child abuse prevention is a shared responsibility with numerous social services agencies, provider organizations, county agencies, medical professionals, educators, faith-based organizations, and community members taking active roles in ensuring children are protected. And whereas we have a responsibility to safeguard our children and prevent child abuse and neglect, which is why Pike County is dedicated to fostering the development of prevention-focused programs to create safe and healthy environments where every child can thrive and flourish. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Pike County, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. We commend the dedicated professionals, social workers, and advocates for their tireless efforts in ensuring that every Pennsylvania child has a safe and healthy childhood.
I believe we have from CUIS, Penny and Kelly. Thank you.
I know Sarah spoke to the responsibility of child abuse awareness and prevention as being a community effort. And I just wanted to read a quote by Mahatma Gandhi that says, sorry, I'm gonna emotional person. The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. And the children and youth of Pike County are, some of our most vulnerable. And I just wanted to highlight and thank a couple of people in particular, individuals in particular. First, I'd like to thank the commissioners for their continued support of the work that we do at Pike County Children and Youth. I'd like to thank our partners in addressing abuse and supporting the youth in Pike County, our Dixon House Child Advocacy Center, VIP, our CASA program, which is a strong program here in Pike. Thank you all. I want to thank our service providers, our behavioral health specialists, our health partners, our mental health partners, for working tirelessly with the families and the youth. I want to thank our foster parents for giving these youth
Okay, take your time.
a soft place to land when they need one. And then last but certainly not least, I want to thank the staff of Pike County Children and Youth and Service Access and Management, who regularly go above and beyond to support the youth and the families and to ensure the safety of all of the children of Pike County. Thank you.
Anything else?
Every year we have these recognition days, and every year we say the same thing from up here. We recognize what you do every day. We appreciate what you do, and we know what a hard job it is on all efforts of this. None of us can stand silent in this. We're all horrified when we see the news. That what you say and how it's written in the paper, that's really very well said. It is rape, it is abuse, and it's horrific when it occurs right here in Pike County. But we see this going on all over. So your job, and we know this, is not easy. We try our we need to look out for, whether it's the seniors or the children or the veterans, people that are suffering through different parts of their lives. But the children is the hardest part, I think, for all of us to take. I see the tears and I hear the tears because we all have children and grandchildren who we could not even imagine would have to live through some type of horrific outcomes of some of these situations that they're put in. And sometimes they're put in those places by their loved ones, which is even more hard to believe. So I just want to say to all of you, thank you, and I'm going to applaud you because you have done an incredible job. All of you in the team. So thank you. Keep up the good work. I don't know if anybody has anything else. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is motion to adopt resolution number 2609, Fair Housing Month, April 2026. Your motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Christian, would you like to read that one too?
Whereas the Fair Housing Act, enacted on April 11 of 1968, enshrined into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, and disability, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirmatively further fair housing in their communities. And whereas Pike County is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And whereas health and environment are strengthened in diverse, inclusive communities. And whereas more than 50 years after the passage of the Fair Housing Act, discrimination persists and many communities remain segregated. And whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pike County Board of Commissioners does hereby declare the month of April 2026 as Fair Housing Month in Pike County, as an inclusive community committed to fair housing and to promoting appropriate activities by private and public entities to provide and advocate for equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Pike County.
Thank you. I don't know, you had somebody I thought coming from the Realtors Association? So I'll just speak a little bit about the housing in the county, and really this all ties together with what we're here about. We're here about families and youth and all, and a lot of the issues that you run into emergencies is that people are not in safe homes, they're not in safe housing, and unfortunately there's also not enough affordable housing in our county. we struggle with this on the county level a lot, because there's not many places to expand out and build what we will call affordable housing, as we've seen building out with senior housing, and we see where that is. We see that's in Westfall. And part of the reason it's there is because that's where the infrastructure is. There's barriers here to us do this, but not to say that we should just give up because of that. I know in our offices of human services with Rob Ruiz, he works continually to provide affordable housing and identifying programs that he can reach out to owners of buildings, even businesses, to help them county are working in the tourist-based industry. That's our largest employer in the county. A lot of those people need to have some type of housing though also to be able to provide those services to us. And I know in the last 2 meetings, you saw us pass some resolutions and some funding to different hospitality groups. That is what that is about. That is about not only trying to create jobs for these individuals, but it's also trying to implement housing for people and bring up affordable housing, which again helps all of you, because I know every day you're dealing with that also. When you have families that are struggling, where are they going to be put? You know, we end up putting them a lot of times in motels, which is not the best places for children to be. So we know that we're working on this. The realtors are working on this, but more importantly on the county level is how do we develop affordable housing for everybody? And we'll continue that work, but it's not an easy task. It's a hard task, but it's something we continue to do. So thank you. Okay, the next item we have is number 4, motion to execute the agreement for professional services between Carbon Monroe Drug and Alcohol Commission Incorporated, recommended by the prison board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Number 5, motion to execute the intergovernmental service agreement between Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Pike County, Pennsylvania, on behalf of the correctional facility as recommended by the prison board.
Motion.
Before I offer my vote, I do want to say something quickly about this. I've heard and spoken with a lot of members of my community, including some who are sitting here today. I have listened to the concerns in general about our agreement, but I want to make a distinction and say 2 things can be true at once. You can abhor what's happening on a national level, you can detest what you're seeing, you can think it's disgraceful, it's disgusting, and it's awful. But what's happening in Pike County is different. In our facility, the inmates are managed by our unionized correctional officers. They are not managed by ICE agents or employees. I have full faith in the warden and the assistant warden, and I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to continue to say this until it's no longer true. I have full faith and I offer all credit to them. They run the facility the way it should be run. If there are corrections to be made, they correct them. Our county has relied upon this revenue for decades. It is not something that you could just snatch away. That would be irresponsible to do, and my job is to be responsible for the residents of this county. If any of those details change, then what I say will change. But as of this moment, pending a study that I've also called for to see what the removal of this revenue would do to our county, how it would impact county employees, our jobs, and our taxes, I am in favor of this agreement. So I vote yes.
Aye. So carried. Number 6, motion to authorize the chairman to execute the IDC Web Services Agreement on behalf of the records of the Dean's Office.
Motion.
Recorder of the Dean's Office. Motion?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Number 7, motion to execute the Human Service Non-Block Grant Report Certification Statement on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, under miscellaneous, as every month, we have the Penn State, for every meeting, Penn State Extension Calendar of Events for everyone to review. We have some announcements here, and that's the volunteer recruitment. It was announced last time, and that's just to refresh them on that. We have Jill, do you want to speak to this, or go ahead?
Yep.
This is Jill Gamboni from Jeff Olsenber's office.
Yep, we are having a concealed carry seminar on April 16th at the Pike County Training Facility from 6 to 8 p.m. And I do have some flyers for the press secretary.
Okay. Then we have the fishing derby, which is on April 18th at Lily Pond, the 28th annual. So make sure we bring all the kiddies out there and have them fish for the day. It's a fun day up there. And then there's a grand opening. Oh no, we have Lana here who's going to talk to us about Tai Chi. And I think we're all going to have to get up and do a little, aren't we, Lana? Thank you, Lana. Lana's from the Senior Aging Office.
Oh, I think this went down a little. Last time I was in.
Oh, you got taller.
I even piled my hair prior. Okay, before I do get started, I just would like to thank all of you for the wonderful job that you do with the children. Thank you so much. God bless you. Okay, now, I'm here to represent the more mature people in Pike County area on aging. Okay, have some exciting news. We're opening a new senior center, and it's over in the Bushkill area, over near Lehman Township. We are closing our Saw Creek Senior Center and our Pocono Mountain Lake Senior Center, and we're combining them together. This is a beautiful building, and we're having our grand opening on April the 7th. So I'm hoping that everybody will attend. I have newsletters for everyone that does give the information on there, and a nice heart healthy meal with a donation. Can't forget the donation. The thing that's happening here with our Pike County area, out more evidence-based programs. And this is extremely important for our more mature population. It's helping people live longer and healthier. It's one thing to live 100 years old, but if you're gonna live like a vegetable, what's the point, okay? Whereas these evidence-based programs help our seniors. We have Tai Chi for arthritis. We have Walk with Ease. We have Bingo Size. So this is a good one. Okay. They have decided everybody thinks of a senior center. Okay, you go and you do bingo.
Nothing wrong with bingo, Lana.
No, I know. But the University of Kentucky came up with a plan that they would combine exercise with bingo. Of course, some of my angels did not like to participate in that because when I said, oh, we're going to learn a new program and it's going to help you, well, of course, when I stopped the bingo to do the exercise. But anyway, it's growing in the area. So we're starting that in Matamoros at the end of April, which will be in our newsletter. Yeah, they almost put a partition to get rid of it.
I'm sure they did.
So what we're doing there is the end of April, we're starting that. It is a 10-week program. And they have seen results. Our seniors have seen results with it. I'll get different phone calls and they will say, I don't want to admit it, Lana. Say, hey, I told you so. Our Tai Chi for arthritis is a very important program, and we're starting that in our new center in Bushkill. That also gives the dates and the times in our newsletter when that's starting. That's also an 8-week program. Some of these programs go up to almost 10 weeks. Once our people get interested in it, many do fulfill the requirements on newsletter. I'm hoping you're going to spread the word. Maybe you'll be there April the 7th. We're going to have Ron Richardson as entertainment. We also have a ukulele group that travels. They do.
Mm-hmm.
They perform, and they're hot stuff. Right?
They are.
All right. Anyway, they perform. They're going to be there and give I said a short show, but sometimes, you know. Anyway, they get excited over it. We have ukulele lessons at all our centers, and they're for free. Please, try and come. Join, enjoy the day with us and see our new center because it's really exciting. All right, does anybody have any questions about what we do? Okay, there are lists of evidence-based programs that we do.
And like I told you, your heart-healthy meals, okay? So if you have diabetes, you know what you can eat, what you can't eat. But on this special occasion, there will be a rainbow dessert that doesn't get involved in the diabetes part. I thank you ever so much, and I'll leave these up here that you can take. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. Okay, that moves us into press and public comment.
I have a question for, thank you, number one, for all of the work you do in the child abuse, but I have a question for you. Does your child care and abuse service providers, are they scanned to make sure they're providing services for the gay and trans youth in our community?
So certainly we partner with some of our local entities such as Diversity and our school district also to ensure that we are being provided services and that our staff also undergoes training on the population.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. And one last thing is, my question about analysis of the ICE members in our detention center is I noticed that about over 40% of our Pike County budget is related to correctional facility. So the question is, does the $170 a day cover what we need in total, including all the infrastructure and everything to support that? That's my only other comment.
Well, as we move forward into the budget with this new contract, it will offset a lot of the costs on that.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you all for coming. It's lunchtime.